You want to know why I have a bug up my ass about the left more than I used to? It's shit like this. There's an ugliness they never used to have. The liberals I grew up respecting, none of them are like this. Going after the wife, even the mafia doesn't do that. There's a lot of people these days who I call liberals in theory. In theory, they hate bullying. Terrible. In practice, their attitude is, it's not bullying when I stick your head in the toilet.
Going after someone's spouse. Even the mafia doesn't stoop that low. Yet here we are, with liberals crossing a line that even Bill Maher, yes, Bill Maher, can't ignore. What sparked this intense backlash? Well, Bobby Kennedy Jr. shocked everyone by endorsing Donald Trump. But instead of attacking him directly, the left set their sights on his wife, Cheryl Hines. Oh, but Bill wasn't having it. Stick around, because this is a takedown you don't want to miss. Before we dive into this fiery story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more unfiltered takes and hard-hitting commentary. Did you subscribe? Amazing. Now, let's get into it. Bill Maher didn't hold back this time. He started by calling out a shift he's noticed in the left. According to him, liberals used to stand for compassion and fairness. But now, there's an ugliness to their approach, a bullying nature he claims didn't exist before. And, folks, the evidence speaks for itself. A few weeks back, Bobby Kennedy Jr. did the unthinkable. He dropped out of the presidential race and endorsed Donald Trump, a move no one saw coming. The media erupted. Social media exploded. And suddenly, all eyes turned not to Bobby, but to Cheryl Hines, his wife. Why Cheryl? Because she dared to do something radical. She stood by her husband. Now, Cheryl Hines isn't just anyone. She's Hollywood royalty, beloved by her peers, and famously known for her role on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Larry David himself once described her as the best person I've ever met. Yet somehow, overnight, she became the internet's public enemy. Social media trolls didn't hold back. How do you live with yourself? They screamed. Do better. Others even claimed they couldn't enjoy episodes of Curb because she was in them. Yes, seriously. But the worst? A tweet from actor Bradley Whitford, who wrote, "Hey Cheryl Hines, way to stay silent while your lunatic husband throws his support behind a man who strips women of their rights. Gutsy. Great example for the kids. Gutsy. More like obnoxious."
A couple of weeks ago, Bobby Kennedy, scion of the most storied dynasty in Democratic Party history, dropped out of the presidential race and threw his support not to the Democrat, but to Trump. And everyone all at once said the same thing. Bobby Kennedy did something weird? A Kennedy in league with a Republican? Why, that's like ordering white wine with Bear. Now look, I like Bobby and always will. And there are things he has been right about that no one else would touch. But yes, I also think he's weird. I couldn't support him for president. His wife is Cheryl Hines, who Larry David was quoted as describing as the best person I've ever met, the one person in Hollywood who doesn't have a single enemy. Well, now she does. Because she didn't throw her husband under the bus when her husband made a decision about something which she's made plain she disagrees with, but that didn't satisfy the obnoxious posers on the aforementioned far left.
And Bill Maher wasn't about to let this slide. Bill tore into the hypocrisy. He pointed out how, in theory, liberals are supposed to be compassionate, yet in practice, they're anything but. He said, and I quote, "In theory, they hate bullying, but in practice, it's not bullying when they stick your head in the toilet." Bill wasn't done. He called out Bradley Whitford directly, accusing him of mansplaining to a woman how she should handle her marriage. And the kicker? Doing it not face-to-face but behind the safety of a keyboard. Classic.
Thousands tweet screamed at Cheryl things like, "How do you live with yourself? Do better. I can't even enjoy the episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm with you in them anymore. It's no wonder Larry divorced you." Yeah, that's a character on TV, but okay. The tweet that got the most attention was from actor Bradley Whitford, who wrote, "Hey, Cheryl Hines, way to stay silent while your lunatic husband throws his support behind the adjudicated rapist who brags about stripping women of their fundamental rights. Gutsy. Great example for the kids, profile and courage." Yeah, well, you know what I think is not gutsy? Mansplaining to a woman, but of course not to her face. How she should sacrifice her marriage. Also, you could read something on Twitter that met with your approval.
Bill didn't stop at Bradley. He called out the far left for losing sight of basic human dilemmas. When you're married, Bill explained, sometimes you have to swallow your pride. You don't always agree with your spouse, but you stand by them. It's called loyalty. And Cheryl Hines made it clear she doesn't share her husband's political views. Yet, to the left, that wasn't enough. They demanded she publicly denounce him, throw him under the bus, and, essentially, destroy her marriage to satisfy their outrage. Maher reminded everyone of a simple truth. Personal relationships shouldn't be a battleground for political wars. This isn't just about Cheryl Hines or Bobby Kennedy Jr. It's about a cultural shift. A willingness to attack families, friendships, and even marriages over politics. And Bill Maher, he's not staying silent. His closing words were a wake-up call. Liberals need to remember what they stand for: compassion, fairness, and yes, tolerance. Because right now, they're looking a lot like the bullies they claim to despise.
In theory, liberals are compassionate. In practice, this guy can't even understand one of the most basic dilemmas common to all humans, that when you're married, sometimes you have to swallow some shit.
What do you think, folks? Did Bill Maher hit the nail on the head? Or is this just another case of political theater? And more importantly, is Cheryl Hines being unfairly targeted for standing by her husband? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more fiery takes like this, hit that like button and subscribe for updates on all the drama, all the controversies, and all the stories you won't hear anywhere else.